Hi everybody, welcome. I'm Jackie Blaine. I'm your instructor for this class. This is a quick, well, I don't know how quick it's going to be, but it's an intro video about the course. We're asynchronous. We don't ever get to meet. I hope you come and see me on Zoom sometime. But this is just sort of a basic walkthrough of the site. There's going to be a second video below this one showing you how to do specific things like posting blog posts and using some of the other tools of the class. But this is, I just wanted to sort of introduce you to the course and say hi, let you know what it's about. This is 1121 is like the second class in a progression. If you took 1101 and you did a final portfolio, you did an education narrative, reflective annotated bibliography, and then a new genre project, then you were taking what we call the new curriculum. Again, it's meant to sort of help people get more comfortable with their own process as writers, especially in 1101 and 1121, to take what you've learned and look at who you are and in the world that you are part of. Communities that you're a part of, audiences that you might want to address at some point in your life. And so this is the we call this sort of the outward facing of it. So 1101 was sort of all about you as a writer. 1121 is about you as a writer in the world. So that's what this class is. Now, given that it's summer, it goes really fast. So my biggest bit of advice for you, for all of you, is just to stay on top of it, because there's a lot going on. A lot of kind of fun stuff, because again, it's not your typical average everyday thesis statement, 3 paragraphs, and conclusion paragraph kind of class. This is doing some other different things. So let me show you the site, and then so we can get started. Okay, so this is our site. Obviously, you're here, you know what it is, right? I thought I'd put a beach scene because it's the summer and we'd much rather be someplace not inside, but you know, that's the way it goes. This is everything that you're going to need is all across here. These drop-down menus, here's the syllabus, contact information for Zoom and all that kind of stuff. Here's the weekly schedule, which I'll show you in a minute. These are the major assignments. There's a little bit of an introductory unit that we're going to do the first few days, just to kind of get used to all this stuff and say hello and get to know each other a little bit. This portrait of a word thing is, everybody belongs to different communities, discourse communities, people who share similar interests, either workplace or community or hobbies or interests or, you know, sports, whatever. So what we do with this unit is to say, okay, show me about the language of that discourse community and how it affects you as a member of that community. And we're going to be reading some fun stuff people really enjoy. To see what exactly we're talking about, and then you're going to talk about one of your communities and the language in that community. So that's the first assignment. The second one is a feature article. It's a researched piece, but it's not an academic research essay. This is a feature article like you would see on the internet someplace or in a magazine, on a blog post. I'll show you how to do it. It takes a little bit of getting used to. It's some new muscles you may never have used before. And I'll show you how to lay it out so that it looks like a feature article. My students really enjoy this once they kind of get into it. But you have to do a little bit of research, sort of using the things that you learned in 1101. But it's not a research piece. It doesn't have a reference page, a works cited page, any of that kind of stuff. Okay, then the third one, you take whatever you think is important or interesting or that other people might want to know about, either from the feature article or from your community, and you create something new. Like I've had students do Instagram stories, tweet storms, you know, Twitter threads, video essays, cartoons and comics, a lot of stuff, right? Photo essays. There's some ways to reach a different audience, and we're going to give you specific audiences to try to hit, just so you kind of have to think about what's the best way to get to that particular audience, those audiences, right? And then the final portfolio is, if you've had 1101 and you did a final portfolio, it's the same thing. It's revisions of these 2 units after you get feedback from me and from your classmates, and then a final long reflection about what you went through for the whole term, kind of where you started now and where you feel like you ended up at the end, and kind of what you thought was good and bad and what was helpful and what was not. Give examples of stuff that you did that you maybe, did better or things that you just never figured out. That's okay too. Right? So these are the units that we'll be doing. Okay, so that's that. The blog is the blog, and I'll talk about that in the video below this. I'll give you specific instructions on how to do them when we get there. The Google Drive is where you're going to drop everything, and I'll come back to that in just a second. And then this is an important tab because mostly this is college resources like things like the Advising Center. If I can get my computer to work this morning, maybe not. I'm having trouble with it. Okay, so college resources like advising, link to the Writing Center, which yes, I'm one of the consultant tutors in the Writing Center, and we are open in June if you need some help. So that's college resources. There's specific help for Open Lab. Again, thank you, computer. If you start having questions or problems, this is essentially the same link that was on the Blackboard site. If you started this class over on Blackboard and then came here from there, this is sort of the same stuff. And then the one that's the most important for us for the class are the class resources. Now I've got a table of contents, but it will give you, there's video tutorials and help and all kinds of information about these things that we're going to be using in the class. Right, the first one is about, I made this post on this video on creating a post on Open Lab, and then a handout, and there's other stuff on here too about all the things that we're going to be using. So that one's important. Let me go through the drive really quickly. This will should take you directly to our class Google Drive, and there's a folder for each one of not the intro stuff because that's all done elsewhere. That's on Open Lab and in Perusall, which I'll talk about in a minute. But there's a big folder for each one of our main units, right? And within each one, you can create your own folders to put your stuff in. We'll manipulate it. If you have never used Google Drive before, it's really simple. Like if you want to add your Unit 1 thing, new file upload, and then you pick something off of your computer and upload it. Right? That's pretty simple. I prefer to have a Word doc. PDFs are okay, but Word docs are easier for me to transfer into Google Docs so that I can make comments on them. Right? But that's how you use the Google Drive. And so there's one for everything. Plus there's some assorted information that I'll have up here for you to use during the term. So that's the Google Drive. If I can get back to the main site. Okay, so that's where all of this stuff goes. Schedule, I've broken it down by weeks, saying what we're doing, and what I'm doing, what you kind of can expect from me. That's what these are. And then also assignments, due dates. And again, there's stuff due almost every day. Most of it's pretty quick. But if you can get a little bit ahead of the curve, you'll be fine. Don't go beyond the end of Unit 1 because you need to get through the intro lecture before you can actually do the work. Okay, so don't jump ahead to the next unit until I've got these video lectures up. Right? When we go over here to the units, like for this one, for Portrait of a Word, I will put a video up here. A video lecture up here at the top to explain what's going on. Right, so you don't have to worry about all that. It'll be there. And I'll also put on the announcements page, which is where everything starts. I'll put a link to those video lectures too. Right, so that's basically the lay of this thing. Now the other things that we're using, here's the link to join Slack. Do use that. Do join quick. My students love it because I monitor it from essentially 9 in the morning till 9 at night. Although people do send me messages, text messages at like 4 in the morning. I'm not going to read that. I'm asleep, I think, until at least the cat and the dog wake me up. Okay, but leave me stuff. Leave me a text. if you've ever used Discord, Slack is a lot like Discord. And the thing is, a lot of companies are using Slack these days in-house. So that's one of the reasons that I wanted you to kind of get used to it a little bit so you can see what it's like when you get out in the business world. Check this page daily. I'll be putting stuff all the time. Then the link, the video is the one I'm making, right? And join Slack, and then you go to the introductory units, and I'll show you how to do that for a minute. This again is a link to the Open Lab for Students help page, and I think that's about it for the main site. So get going, join Slack. Oh, I did want to show you. No, I'll show you the other ones in the next video. But we are using several tools. We're using Slack. We're using Perusall for all the readings, and we're using the Padlet to do some fun stuff. But I'll show you those in the next video. So that's the basic thing. If you've got questions, send me an email. It's dblain, B-L-A-I-N, at citytech.cuny.edu, or join Slack and drop a hello on Slack, and I'll answer you back as soon as you say hi. Okay, so that's it. Welcome to the class. Keep up, and let me know if things are going well or going badly for you. Okay, see you online.